Yes, the Mavic Mini has arrived. Time to celebrate, but not only that, this is also our 100th YouTube video, so it's a double celebration. Nearly took my eye out and the room was filled with smoke. But yes, 100 YouTube videos, I can't believe it. Listen, all you subscribers out there that follow us and come with us on our journeys and look at our reviews, thanks ever so much. It's really, really appreciated to have you along for the journey and to see the following grow. Anyone that's watching this video or watching one of our videos for the first time today, a very, very warm welcome. Do think about hitting that subscribe button. We have got some absolutely amazing videos coming up very, very soon from our recent trip to Guadalupe, where we were cage diving with the great white sharks. Got some absolutely epic underwater stuff and also drone footage coming very, very soon, so keep an eye out for that. So the Mavic Mini drone, I don't think I need to tell anyone its main selling point. 249 grams, so it's just underneath the 250 gram limit as classified in regulations by CAA or FAA, depending on where you are in the world. So I really want to take a look at it. It's light. We always travel, and anyone that follows us knows we travel a lot. I always travel with my Mavic Pro. I like to fly my drone when we're away. It accompanies the underwater video. I kind of think it makes the videos look better. One of the things I always struggle with is weight allowance, especially with my hand luggage, because I've got so much underwater video gear. I've got my video lights. And really, I just wanted to see how we got on with the Mavic Mini, because it's so light, it's easy to travel. It's really aimed at beginners and for the traveller in mind. It's not professional quality video, but we're going to give it a shot. We've got a trip coming up in the next couple of weeks. That's what I've got this for. So we're going to do a little bit of a first look. Haven't even looked inside yet, still got the wrapper on. Have a look inside, see what's going on, and we are going to go through some of the features that it's got, see what it's got, what it hasn't got, how it compares to the Mavic Pro. And yeah, we're going to whack the little propeller guards on and fly indoors as well. I've never done that with a drone, so that should be pretty cool. So let's take a look and see how we get on. Right, so let's dive in. Okay, we've got a little grey carry case. That's got the drone in it. Got a few boxes. Go for each one of these. Plug adapter. Prize number one. We've got a box that has nothing in it. It's just got some instruction manuals, disclaimer booklets, quick start guide. Don't know why it needed a box for that, but it had a box. This must be the batteries. Looks like it's got a little battery logo on it. Yes, it is. So it's 3 batteries. We obviously got the Fly More combo kit, so it comes with the 3 batteries. So this must be the propeller guards. I've never flown a drone indoors before. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. It's kind of cool. Yeah, really, really. I mean, obviously you expect it to be light, but they are really light. La 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 la. Ta-da! Whoa, that is small. I mean, I know it was going to be small. I wasn't to be that small. Do you know what? We'll leave the drone till last. So we have here the battery charging hub. We've got a box that has cables, and there are the little joysticks that screw onto the controller. Then we've got the controller. Do you know what? It actually feels quite. It's weightier than I thought it was going to be. Pretty much the same size as the controller for the Mavic Pro that we've got. There's a set of joysticks underneath. They obviously screw on. Yeah, plastic, screw on. Would have been cool if they were like little metal ones or aluminium or something. But what do you want for a few £100? You'll notice that the controller doesn't have a screen on it like the Mavic Pro one. It's got the return to home button on the top, it's got the power button, it's got the take a photo, it's got the record a video. It's got a little wheel on the top right still, so I'm assuming that's the camera angle. Wheel on the top left, not the top right. No wheel on the top right, so there's no exposure ISO button, so no amending the shot for the video. Then we've got spare propellers and screws. So it comes with 3, so fly more combo. Then we have the drone. Whoa. Now this is the first time I've seen with my actual eyes, and certainly obviously the first time I've held one. I mean, I know it's 249 grams, but that is ridiculously light. Yes, it hasn't got a battery in. The batteries are, and do you know what, the battery's probably as heavy as the drone without the battery in it. I've got a set of scales downstairs. We'll give them all away in a minute and see what's going on. God, it's so small. It's ridiculously small. It feels really, I don't want to state the obvious, plasticky. Wow, well there you go. I mean, I knew it was small. I knew how small it was going to be. I knew it was going to fit in the palm of my hand. But yeah, it's really, really small. I mean, I know it's the same, with the arms folded in, it's smaller than an iPhone, but that's it with the iPhone next to it. And that's just crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Interesting to see that there is no cover to the memory card slot on the back. I don't know if you can see that. And there is the mini USB charge cable. So obviously the battery, you can charge the battery in the drone as well as putting it into the charge hub. So you can plug that straight in. I'm assuming this just lifts up. Oh yeah, so there's a little battery terminal. Battery just slides in. No power button on the top. That must be it underneath. There's a little button there. Must be the power button. Let's look at the camera. There we go. See that? I mean, it's really cool. It's really cute, actually. It's a strange sort of stone grey colour. So, found a set of scales. I'm going to weigh the drone without the battery, with the battery, and then I'm just going to compare it up against the Mavic Pro. So, I'm actually going to weigh the controller first. 245.9 grams. Just to give you an idea, it's essentially the same weight. So this is the Mavic Mini without the battery. 153.9. So there is the drone with a battery inside. I'm going to pop in a memory card too. So that is essentially the weight that we will be. Oh, let's just make sure that's 0. That's interesting. I've got 253.4. Just make sure we are at 0. Yep, we are at 0. You know what? Let's take off the tray. Let's zero that out. Let's put the drone on. Yep. Still 253.5. Surely they wouldn't make that much of an error. Well, that's interesting. My scales, they must be broken. It's the only way I can explain why that would weigh more than 249 grams with a battery and a memory card. Oh, hang on a minute. I wonder if that is what was causing the weight over. Oh, there we go. 248.323 grams. I can't believe it was the gimbal cover. What an idiot I am. Just to give you an idea, there is a Mavic battery. coming in at 235. So the battery of a Mavic is almost the same weight as the Mavic Mini. I would weigh the Mavic Pro, but the scales only go up to 600 grams. But to give you an idea, as an iPhone 8 Plus, Mavic Pro 1 and the Mavic Mini, and that is the Mavic Mini controller. That is really small, isn't it? It's crazy small. Right, I'm going to have a little bit of a tidy up. I'm going to get the batteries charged, I'm going to get the controller charged, I'm going to get this little baby hooked up to the DJI Fly app, and we're going to stick the propeller guards on and see how we get on indoors. So I've calibrated the gimbal, the IMU and the compass on the drone. They're all very simple things to do, very, very quick. And you need to do them on setup, but the app will walk you through those. So we're just going to take you for a little fly and see what happens. So we're going to click on takeoff. In the Pro, you have to swipe up for it to take off. With the Mavic Mini, you hold down the takeoff. I don't know where to look. I don't know if I should look at that camera, this camera, or at the screen. I probably better look at the screen. You know what, let's see where we can take this. We'll probably scare the bejesus out of the cats, but there's old Bruce. Let's see if we can get down the stairs in one piece. So we got it into the lounge. That's one of my drone shots from Indonesia. That's very nice. One of my drone shots that Haley got made for me for my birthday, I think it was. So we've made it into the kitchen. Let's see if we can get it back up. Whoa. Oh. Right, it wants to return to home. So we've got it back. We've banged it into the wall a couple of times. But yeah, all good, flying okay. Done. It's come back in one piece. Got a little bit stuck on the stairs, but other than that, yeah, it's all good. Couple of settings I wanted to look at quickly. If I click on the top three little dots at the top, you get the option of safety, control, camera, transmission, and about. So obviously in the safe, that's where you set your heights and your return to home distances, so return to home height. In control, you can have Cine Smooth, which I thought I was flying in, but I wasn't. I was in position, which I should have been in Cine Smooth. Position and obviously sport. You can turn the sport on in the app. You can see your units of measurement in metric, kilometers, imperial. Follow me gimbal. I didn't think there was a follow me mode. Oh, the gimbal remains fixed horizontally when the aircraft is moving. Yep. And then there is the calibration for the gimbal, your stick mode, and your calibration between the remote and the drone itself. In camera, I've got it flying as, sorry, I've got it recording as 16.9. I prefer that over the 4.3. And in advanced settings, you can then turn on or off the grid line. There we go, that's with it off. Turn it back on, you can have a diagonal one, and you can also have a dot in the middle. So I'm just going to turn those two off. Overexposure warnings on, that's the little zebra lines that you see. Auto flicker I've got set to auto. And down here, your max video cache capacity, you can have it set to 2, 4, 8 or 16 gig, or you've got an option for auto. I've just left it on auto. Transmission just gives you frequency, how many satellites that you're currently registered to. So actually I'm indoors, and over the Wi-Fi connection, it's actually pretty good. It's only missing 2 of the, God knows how many that are there. Oh, let's go back into that. And then in about, you just get to see your firmware version. Battery, amount of times the battery has been charged. This has actually been charged once. This is I just charged it and put a fresh battery in. And the serial numbers. So I've got the histogram turned on. You can see it's there. I'm recording in 2.7K just for the sake of it. If you click on that, you can change your frame rate between 25 and 30 frames per second. You can also record in 1080p at 25, 30, 50 or 60 frames per second. But what I've discovered is that I'm clicking on the auto down the bottom, that little camera symbol. It's telling me that I'm unable to switch camera modes in current shooting mode. So there is no customization of the ISO or shutter speed. I can change the exposure value, but that's about it. However, if I go into photo, you can shoot a single image in 12 megapixel. You can do a time shot, so as in a timer. And there's a quick shot mode, but you can only do quick shot when you're in the air. So we'll have a look at that when we've got it outside later in the week. But if I'm in single shot mode, and then I click on auto in the bottom right corner, it's telling me what millimeter the lens is currently shooting at. But you can also change the ISO for the shot. You can't do that in video. You can also change the shutter speed for the shot. You can't do that in video, which is really annoying. The only thing you can amend in video, it's very flat, but you can only amend the exposure, not the shutter speed or the ISO, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. So just something to call out if you are just looking for this for video. There isn't a lot of customization in terms of the shot. We haven't taken it outside yet. I've only literally flown it indoors, so we'll get it outside and we'll see what the quality of the video is like. I'd imagine it's going to be pretty good, but we'll take a look at that anyway. But yeah, so far I've bashed it into the wall a couple of times. I've got it caught on the stairs, but it's come back in one piece. Nothing's broken. Propellers are still intact. Everything's all still good. We've got no warnings. Yep, so far so good. We'll get this outdoors and we'll look at some of the features that are in the menus in terms of the circle, the helix, the rocket and the drone modes. Oh, hey guys, well, welcome to the beautiful Kent countryside. As you can see, I am here on a very grey and damp, rather blustery day actually, so this will be a good little test for the Mavic Mini to see how it compares with the wind that we've got blowing around. I've got my wellies on, I'm covered in mud. The camera is perfectly horizontal. The floor that I'm standing on isn't. I'm on a slope coming down this way and also down that way. So yeah, we're going to see how this gets on. We're going to do a couple of return to home tests to see how it copes with the GPS. And we're also going to try some of the quick shot modes like the droney, the rocket, the circle and the helix. I haven't tried any of those, so it's going to be as much of a learning experience for me as it is for you. But yeah, I've got a couple of fresh batteries charged up. We're going to give it a go and we'll see how we get on. I'm set to 2.7K. I am shooting in 25 frames and I've left my exposure value to 0. So let's get her in the air. And I'm going to take her up to to take her up to about 80 metres in height, and I'm going to take her about 200 metres away. There's a lot of strong wind going on, but she seems to be pretty stable. Well, the gimbal and the camera's working well anyway, if she is a bit blustery. I can still see her just about here. That's the lovely little village of Ainsford that you can see there, here in the Kent countryside. Oh, we are 100 metres high and we're 225, so we've got a lot of strong wind going on. We'll bring her back. She's responded well, she's coming back. She's coming back really quickly. I don't know if that's just how quickly she comes back to home or whether she's got some wind assistant going on there. But she's coming back 130 metres, 120 metres, 110, 100 metres. Whizzing across the sky. So she's almost directly above me now. You can see she's very blustery in the air. But she's coping well with the wind. She seems to be coping really well with the wind. Actually, I'm quite happy with that. Looks like she's going to be a little bit off. Oh no, she's adjusted. Wow, look at that, on the money. She's literally just on the edge. She's got her front left foot just hanging off the edge, but I mean, come on, we're in pretty bad flying conditions here. This is really, really windy here, so that's pretty impressive. You know what, we're gonna try it again. We're gonna fly her a different direction. We're gonna head down the valley actually and see how she gets on that way. Let's just bring the camera up and let's just take her up again. We'll take her, which direction should we take her? We'll take her up this way. Take her up alongside the railway line. Right, well she's 90 metres up, but she won't seem to fly any further than, oh there we go. Now she's going forward. I think she's flying head on to the wind because she's going really slowly. I mean, I've got the pedal all the way forwards and you can see that she's only ticking up really slowly in the units of metres. So I think she's struggling with the wind a little bit. We're on 66% battery. We've got a little bit of aircraft, signal interference. Not quite sure if that could be I don't think it will be the train line. I mean, we're 100 metres in the air. She has... Right, we're at 200 metres and we are 90 metres up. But we'll return her to home. Let's see how accurate she comes back to the landing point. Oh, she's coming back really quickly. I can literally see her whizzing across against the clouds. I've got to be honest with you guys, it's really chilly out here today. I should have bought some gloves, I'm absolutely frozen. looks pretty much above us, or a little bit off actually when I look up. This looks like she's a little bit off the mat. But is she going to adjust in the air? This is the question. Will she adjust in the air? Oh! At least it's not raining. It was absolutely peeing it down this morning. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's keep that camera down. That's interesting. It says it's unsuitable for landing. So clearly the sensors has picked up something. So she won't manually land, but she's, I don't know if you can see, but she's got half her body over the mat, half her body just off the mat. But for some reason the sensor is saying that the ground isn't stable. It could be the mud when I'm absolutely covered in it. As you can see, who knows. But that isn't a bad, you know what, we'll try it one more time. We'll go a different direction this time. Alright, let's just put her slap bang in the middle of the mat again. Alright, we'll take her up the valley this time. And we'll try it again. What I am going to do, I'm just going to, I don't think it'll make much difference in terms of home point, but while she's over the mat, I'll update the home point. And we'll take her up and away. We'll do the same thing again. Take her up that way. Oh, she's going much quicker this time, so clearly the wind's blowing up the valley today. We'll see how she comes back against the wind. That'll be interesting. The sky looks so moody, doesn't it? It's absolutely freezing out here. I haven't seen a single dog walker. That's how cold it is. Yeah, she's really going with the winds. 117 meters up, you can just see there in the middle of the screen where the train track goes into the tunnel, goes underground. So yeah, I've never actually seen that before. That's pretty cool. So what we're going to do, we are going to return her to home. Signal seems pretty good, no issues with her turning round. Still on 48% battery. Picture doesn't look that bad considering I can't change anything other than the exposure value. The picture seems like it's got some good colour. We could probably do something in it when we get it into Final Cut Pro. Definitely got strong winds. She does seem to be coming back a little bit slower than when I took her out. So yeah, definitely coming against the wind. It's a beautiful picture, isn't it? You can just hear her. Yeah, she's really battling against the wind here. She's trying to return to home. 127 meters. She seems to kind of got stuck at 124, 123, 116. Yeah. I can see her. I mean, I will be fair. There is I couldn't actually tell you what the winds are gusting here, but I can see her literally battling against the winds. Bitingly cold. Right, well, she's almost above me. And she's coming. I'll be fair. I mean, I took her much further on that one than I intended to. I didn't actually realise how quick she was going with the wind. I'd only planned to go about 150, 200 metres, but next thing I know, she's a couple of 100 metres more. And I literally think the wind just carried her. 249 grams. She just flew like a tiny little bit of plastic, which is essentially what she is. Let's see how close we get this time. So the first one she landed on the mat all by herself, 1 foot off. Second time she came over the mat but decided she didn't want to land. This time she's quite a way off. Yeah. Yeah. So she's what on this time? She's about 1.5 meters. What do you reckon? We'll try one more time. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to take in that direction behind me this time. See how we get on that way with the wind. So we've still got 29% battery. We've got enough for one more test of returning to home. Straight away she's feeling the wind. She's just over the mat, so we are right, she's over it. We're just going to set that, update that home point again, and then we'll, whoa, I nearly fell over. Take her up and away. Okay, we're at 300 meters. I can still actually see her. It's in the distance. Slap bang over the middle of the field that I'm standing in. Oh, she wants to return to home anyway, so you know what? Let's return to home with the battery warning. We're at 25% battery. I haven't actually changed settings. I'm pretty sure you can change when you want your return to home battery being, but I was at the distance and height I wanted to be. So we're returning to home. That wasn't me turning her then. She was either getting confused with where she's going, or she's getting blown about in the wind a little bit. She's coming back. %20 battery. I think she just struggles with the wind a little bit. I think it's quite. I don't know if you can see on the on this camera, the camera that I'm filming myself on, how quickly the clouds are flying across the sky there. There's some real dirty big black clouds as well. It's a really, really miserable autumnal day. It's absolutely biting cold too. She's crabbing over sideways a little bit. I can see her. She's just flying. It's not even flying forward. She's just flying sideways to find her GPS point. Right. Well, apparently she thinks she's directly above her GPS point, so is now descending, rocking about in the wind. You obviously can't see because it's underneath the camera, but I've got my rucksack hanging on the bottom of the tripod and it's really swinging about in the wind. Right, well, she's coming. Looks pretty good actually. This one looks pretty good. She's just a little bit off, I think. Come on. Right. So she's just off. She's just off of the mat. You can see the mat. I think she's almost got the front of her propellers over the mat, but she's sensing that the ground's unstable, so she doesn't want to land, but she's come back to where she needed to be. So So that wasn't actually a bad effort. I mean, we've tried her 4 times. My hands have gone numb. We've tried her 4 times. She landed once perfectly with kind of 1 foot just off of the mat. One time she came back about a metre away, and then the other 2 times she kind of stopped above the mat but sensed that the ground was unstable. So I don't know whether that was just the wind or whether she's sensing some of the mud, it looks uneven, or whether I don't know, the reflection from the mat thinks she's over water, but wasn't so bad. I mean, it was pretty accurate, I'd say. Now we're going to try some of the quick shot modes and see how we get on with those. Actually, I need to go into, no I don't, I want to go, right, let's go into quick shot. So that's droney. So I want her to go, we'll go 40 meters distance. So you know what, let's get her there. Got to tap or draw a box around the subject. Let me just, so you know what, let's do, oh, let's just do that, there we go. Take a quick shot. So 3, 2, 1. So I'm not flying now, I'm not doing any controls. That is the drone, the Mavic Mini, doing the droney mode. So I've selected her on me. Oh, she comes back to where she started, that's interesting. So there we go. I'll try it again. Start, 3, 2, 1. So I'm not touching the controller at all. And it flies out to a set distance. So I set it to 40 meters away. So she basically flies out at a very slight elevation to 40 meters. Quick shot complete, and then she comes back. So she only went to a height of about 12-13 meters, I think. Comes back quite quickly. And returning, and she's there. Let's try rocket. 40 meters altitude. Draw a box, so we're trying the rocket this time. So start, 3, 2, 1. So she keeps the distance away from the target, but just goes straight up and automatically dips the camera down. I'm not doing any of the controllers, as you can see. So she's just basically flown flying 240 meters. Without moving her location, she's just gone straight up, and she's returning back down to the same point. We try that one more time. So start, box, 3, 2, 1, and away she goes. So I'm not flying, I'm not touching the controllers at all. God, it's so muddy here, guys. I must have about an inch of mud on the bottom of my boots. It's crazy. And then she's come back. That's pretty cool. Right, so now we're going to try a circle. So I've got the circle selected. We're going to click on start, tap to draw a box. So that's going to be our box. We'll click on start. I haven't set her to so she's just doing the circle around my location. I haven't, what I probably should have done was change the altitude and the distance before I started that one, but it's pretty cool. Get to see the back of my jumper. And then she's come back. That's pretty, you know what, I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change that. I'm going to take her up a little bit. I think just make sure I'm above any trees here. Let's just, right, so we'll click on start. Will she let me draw a box? Right, she's not letting me draw a box. I think you can change, you can change the direction whether she goes left or right, but I'm trying to draw a box. Maybe I'm too far away, or maybe it's just my hands are too cold and I can't touch the screen. Let me come just a little bit closer. Come down a little bit. Let's do like that. Let's see if I can draw a box around me this time. No, let's come down a little bit more. Oops. Let's come in and down a little bit. So now she's picking up the little plus symbol. So clearly you can't be too far away when you want to do that. So if I click on start, there she's picked me up. Click on start. 3, 2, 1. And I've got her going around the other direction this time. Oh, I can see a little bit of sun coming through the clouds. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right, last one we're going to do is the helix. So we're just going to select helix, maximum radius. So let's click on that. Let's click on that. Let's draw a box around the subject. Got a train going by. So she's flown out on her own. She's going around quite quickly. Obviously the bigger the arc of the circle, the quicker she's going round. But you can see she's finished up quite a way away. It's pretty cool. You know what, we'll try that again. She returns back to her home position, which is pretty cool. I don't need to fly her back in. Oop. So we'll try that one more time. We'll start that. Tap the box, press start. 3, 2, 1. I'm not flying her, and she is flying out lovely. Look at that, she's really smooth, you know. I like that. How fantastic is that? So she just does one full circle. It's pretty cool, huh? So that's the droney, the rocket, the circle and the helix features. It's really simple to do. You click a button, you draw a little box on whatever the subject you want is, hit go, and away she goes. So one of the really annoying things I discovered when I got back from the test flight was that my screen wasn't recording. I set it to, but for some reason it didn't say, which is a bit frustrating because I had planned to show you what some of the features were in the droney, the rocket, the circle and the helix, and how that came up. So I've got the drone currently hovering in the garden just outside. I'm not going to fly it obviously because I'm too close to the house, but I just want to show you what that looks like on the screen. So if I click on where it says the 2.7K, go into quick shots, And you can see there you've got the drone, the rocket, the circle and the helix mode. So the drone is currently selected. You can select what distance you want the drone to fly away from its original position. And you essentially draw a green box. You just use pinching your fingers, draw a green box around the subject that you want it to. You hit start, it counts down 3, 2, 1, and then it flies backwards in that motion. And it automatically records. You don't need to hit the record button. Once it's finished, it then comes back to its original position. And that's exactly the same with the rocket mode. You would decide what altitude you want the drone to fly up to. You draw the green box around whichever the subject is. So there's a little green box. So you'd put yourself in that green box. You'd hit the start button, it would count down, and it would go straight up recording. And exactly the same with the circle. You can decide whether you want to go left or right around the subject. You put yourself in the green box, and then it would fly around that. And exactly the same with the helix, either left or right. You could start it quite close to you. You'd hit the start button, decide what radius you want it to go out to, up to 40 meters away. So it would start close and it would circle out in a corkscrew manner, going all the way out. One thing I did discover is that when you do those, you can't start too far away. You need to be quite close to the subject, and it won't allow you to draw the green box. So that's something to be very wary of. But I think they're really great features. There's some similar modes on the Mavic Pro. To be honest with you, I didn't really use them that often. I only really used the point of interest, which is essentially a bit like the circle mode. So I can see me definitely using these, certainly when we're traveling. But I really wanted to call that out and show you what that looked like on the screen. So the Mavic Mini drone from DJI. There's lots of things to love about it, but a few things to be wary of. As I said earlier, this is a drone that's kind of really aimed at the beginner, and also for those that want to travel and want something light to travel with. Yes, it's 249 grams, so it's under the regulation limit of 250 grams, but I would 100% still register your drone or yourself as a hobby drone pilot. It just makes life easier if you get challenged in the future. And remember guys, although this is under regulations, in terms of weight, you still have to abide by all of the drone laws that are currently in place. So ensuring the correct distances from buildings, keeping the drone in visual line of sight, which, don't forget, is going to be slightly more challenged because you're dealing with a unit that's so much smaller than other drones. So actually that visual line of sight is actually going to be reduced. There's a few negatives from me. There's no obstacle avoidance on this whatsoever. There's no obstacle avoidance sensors. So seeing as this is aimed at the beginner drone pilot or hobbyist dronist, I can definitely see a few of these being crashed in the process. And there's also no follow me mode. So this is definitely not going to appeal for some of those active sporty people out there that like to record themselves with the drone while they're either running or mountain biking or any of those kind of like outdoor adventure pursuits. There's no follow me mode, which is a little bit sad. For video, there's no 4K recording option, and there's no manual control for adjusting picture in video. So it'll only shoot flat color profiles. There's no Cine D-like or Vlog recording options. And for photo, there is no RAW capabilities. You can only shoot JPEG. Yes, you can adjust the shutter speed, and yes, you can adjust the ISO in photo. You cannot do that in video, which is a little bit annoying, but you can't shoot any RAW photos, only JPEG. However, there are a ton of positives, and that's the reason why I think the DJI Mavic Mini will end up doing really well. The footage from the CMOS camera is actually very good quality, and it will shoot 2.7K up to 30 frames per second and also 1080p up to 60 frames per second. The enhanced Wi-Fi for image transition is actually excellent, and I found the basic quality of the image and the video that came out of it actually very good. You get 30 minutes of fly time from one battery charge, which is fantastic, and you can also charge the battery while it's in the drone. You don't need to take the battery out and put it into a charger to charge it. You can charge it leaving it inside the drone. The price is super cheap when you consider what you're getting. The basic drone combo of the controller, the drone and the single battery is £369, and the Fly More combo is £459, which I think is definitely worth getting when you consider what you're going to get for your extra money. If you look at the individual price for the batteries, which I think are £45 each, the battery charging hub is £35. You obviously get the gimbal guards, you get the extra propeller. So for the extra 90 quid, you're actually getting a whole load more of equipment, which would cost you so much more if you're going to buy that individually. Flying the drone is super simple. I love the new DJI Fly app. It's actually really intuitive and easy to use, and I think they've kind of based it on the DJI Mimo app, the app that you use for the DJI Osmo Action. So yeah, it's really very, very simple. I love the features on the drone. I love the droney, the rocket, the circle and the helix features. You don't need to hit record, you just kind of set the parameters, you hit go and it automatically records and it brings the drone back to where it was. So no messing around with record button, stop recording, it just kind of records that segment of the action that it's doing. Really like that. And finally, the thing I was most impressed with was how this 249 gram little bit of plastic, which is essentially what it is, it's a bit of flimsy plastic, how it copes in the windy conditions. Honestly, I don't think I've ever flown a drone in winds that bad before. I've certainly never taken my Mavic out in winds that bad before, and I know it would handle it, no problem. But this lightweight 249 gram drone, yes, it was a bit buffered and battled into the wind, and it certainly went much quicker with the wind, but considering how gusty it was, the picture quality I got back was fantastic. There was no movement in the camera. The 3-axis gimbal on the camera worked really well, and seeing as she's so light, yeah, I thought she'd done really well in how windy it was. So that's it. If you're still with me, thanks ever so much for watching. If you found this review video useful, please do think about giving it a little like, and as always guys, if you think anyone's going to find this video useful, please do share it, and also think about hitting that subscribe button. As I said earlier in the video, we've got some fantastic videos coming up very soon from our trip to Guadalupe with the great white sharks, and also footage with the drone. And don't forget, we'll be taking this on our travels very soon, so you don't want to miss how we got on with it when we took it away. But for now, that's me done. Thanks very much. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.